Shaun, John, good morning. We struck
Morning.
lucky. We got a blue sky day to talk about a new guided walk. Now, there's no shortage of people doing guided walks in Bath. Why do you want to do one?
Well, I think we're both Bathonians. We've both been in the music, playing music for nearly 50 years. We're showing our age, John. Sorry.
Frightening.
But I just wanted to bring the music history to Bath and the history that, especially the rock and roll years from the 60s onward. There's a lot that was happening here, a lot going on, and I've learnt a lot more myself when I was doing the research into this tour, and I thought this is well worth a walking tour.
And as you say, Richard, there's plenty of tours in Bath. I mean, Bath is one of the largest tourist spots in the country, so there's plenty going on, but nobody's doing what we're doing, and that's telling the rock and roll history.
But, you know, the guided tours are all about Jane Austen and Thomas Gainsborough, Lord Nelson. Can you really match that with pop facts and pop history?
There's more actually when you start looking into this, as Shaun says, that comes out of the woodwork all the time. But you know, some of the acts that we're going to be talking about are absolutely iconic. I mean, the Beatles, the Stones, Tears for Fears, Peter Gabriel. They go on and on. And so yeah, I think there's enough there. And certainly, you know, we're looking at this tour to be best part of 2 hours. You know, walking around iconic spots and telling stories. So plenty to go for.
Well, you mentioned Tears for Fears, and there is a reason why we are doing this interview where we are. Funnily enough, look, there's a guided tour going by. Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Perhaps they want to know about rock and roll and they don't know yet.
I'm sure they would rather know about rock and roll than whatever it is they're doing. But look, we're outside Pizza Express for a particular reason here on the edge of the Stroll Close, and it's got something to do with the flat above.
Yeah, I was in a band called Graduate, which lasted from 1978 till 1980. And when Graduate split up, Roland Orzabal and Curt Smith, who were bandmates of mine in that band, but Roland had a flat here with his girlfriend at the time, Caroline, and he was looking for inspiration, and he was looking for his next move, and it was before they'd actually formed Tears for Fears. And he was looking out of his window from this flat one day, looking into the Stroll Close here, and he came across the words came to him of all around me are familiar faces, looking out, seeing people that he knew, people that he recognised every day. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Mad world, of course.
It is a mad world, is it not?
Is. And of course that song was one of their very biggest hits, got to number 3 over here in the UK, but it was a number 1 hit both sides of the Atlantic for Gary Jules from the film Donnie Darko in the early 2000s. So it's a massive song, came from here.
There should be a blue plaque.
Oh, totally. I think so as well.
And Shaun, talking about Tears for Fears, didn't they throw a party just across the road?
Exactly. April the 1st, 1982, they did their first ever show in Moles. And there were only 5 of them, plus 1 person doing the lighting, and that was me. And we ended up having our party, after show party, in the Cannon, which was then called the Metro Club, and we were downstairs, and Phonogram were there, and it was where Phonogram came along to see if they had enough material to carry on with them. They then decided the show was successful, they liked what they saw. Mad World, that we're talking about, was the next song that they made that Tears' first ever hit.
Wow. And we're not far from the Theatre Royal, and maybe that's another stopping point.
It is. Charlie Ware owned this, a businessman who was a big supporter of events, arts events in the 70s. And in 1973 he got Roxy Music to play here because they owed him a favour.
We have the likes of Peter Gabriel living just outside the city. I think I'm right in saying Van Morrison is still hereabouts.
Van Morrison lives in St James Square, or may still be there, further on up behind the Royal Crescent. Peter Gabriel, we know, wrote the song Salisbury Hill, which was just outside of Bath.
You're not taking them up Salisbury Hill?
No. Maybe in later stages we might do that.
That might be a run.
That might be a run. That might be the coach tours that we might do.
Now, look, with respect to the artists we're talking about, we're talking about a particular generation of people. Is this going to be of interest to Generation Z?
I think so. I mean, the kids of today, there's a big music college just outside of Bath. on the outskirts, Newton Park, and the kids are there learning music. What they should learn is the history of the music and where they're from and what it's. I mean, the Beatles have influenced bands all the way through Liverpool, all the way through their history. And Bath should be the same. People learning music in Bath or people playing music in Bath should know something about the history, and that will bring out, I think, more of the passion in it, because there's a lot of. We want to bring the passion that was around in those days and how it all started.
Well, you've obviously guys done an awful lot of research, and I know you still got to go away and memorize all the dates. People love dates. I'm a former mayor's guide, and I know that's the worst thing of all, is getting the dates right. But look, when are you aiming to start this? And how many days of the week will you be doing?
We're going to start in April, and we're doing 3 days a week. Thursdays and Fridays, 2 till 4. Saturdays, 10 till 12. And 2 till 4, so we'll have 2 on a Saturday, 1 on a Thursday, 1 on a Friday. And then by demand, if people go on the website and want to bring a group over, if we're available, which we'll do it in the other times.
We know that from some of the big fan sites around the world. I mean, Tears for Fears, for instance, have got fans all over America, Japan, etc. Eddie Cochran, who there's a big story about in Bath, of course, because he actually died here in 1960. His fans will come over from America. So having a website, having that up there, we can cater for people that want bespoke tours as well.
And once again, you won't actually be going to St Martin's Hospital, will you?
No, but we can talk about the whole story. Yeah,
you can tell the story. Yeah. Now, will you go out together, or you'll each be doing a separate tour?
Sometimes we might be together, but usually a separate tour.
Okay. And will people be hearing music while they go around on this tour?
No, not actually hearing music, but what we've done, or what we're going to do, is put together a Bath playlist. That will go on Spotify and the big music channels, and people can listen to that at their own in their own time, and it'll have all the classic songs from all the classic artists that have had a link to Bath in any way.
Now, people can find out more about the tour by going onto your website. Is that up and running?
Correct. Not at the moment. It will be very soon, yes.
We think in 3 to 4 weeks we'll have that up and running. It'll be rocknstrolltours.com, and all the info will be up there. There'll be booking information so people can link through to a booking site, etc. But also information about what the tour's about and a little bit about us guys as well.
Yeah. That's good. So I can give that information. I can give the website, but just tell them it won't be live for a few weeks.
Probably the end of Feb, I would say, yeah.
All right. And are you open to any other information about pop and Bath? If somebody says, "Ooh, I wonder if they know about so-and-so."
Oh, of course, we are always learning. Everybody's learning anytime. I do guided tours around Europe, and I'm always learning things everywhere I go. I've been to Pompeii recently, and you learn something. I've been 7 times or 8 times to Pompeii. You learn something all the time, and look at the history of Pompeii.
Yeah, every time you go back, they've uncovered another villain.
So there are people that have put things on websites about what was happening in those days, and if we're missing anyone out and they want to put information in, we love to hear from us.
Or individual stories that they were there, or they were, little things like that is lovely information. Sometimes you can pick up a little story that's just a bit funny, or a little bit, absolutely sort of part of that particular night, or part of that particular gig, or something. So it's quite nice, really. Yeah.
Well, if people make contact with me, I'll pass the info to you guys.
Thank you very much.
And wish you the very best of luck with Bath's newest and most original guided tour to come.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you.